But let's talk about how I prepared for the speaking examination. I also familiarized myself with general topics. I listened to a lot of podcasts. So while I was working at work, I would be, plugged in listening to podcasts of native speakers, how they spoke, how they interacted. So, and the words they use, choice of words, also very, very important. But then, yes, my jovial nature was there. My, happy self was there. I spoke about my home. What can you see? Tell me about your house and everything. I told him, I said, oh, the compound is so beautiful. If you move out of the compound, it's a very serene environment. There's so many flowers that surrounds my house. You could find roses, you can find daisies. All of these are not so true, but it's just about being creative and being like bubbly, being able to speak on your feet and then not using common words, but also like vocabularies that are very, top notch as well. So that instead of you saying, let's say, the environment is beautiful, use words like the environment is serene. And don't take a pause to think of big words. That's the mistake you should never make. Have your vocabulary already in check by doing the proper research, reading up on big words, synonyms of words, listening to podcasts to see how they express themselves. And then if you need to think, there's a way I learned over a podcast. You can take a pause, but not a pause of using fillers, like filler was yes, because sort of. So no. Take a pause and then go ahead to speak. It's not a do or die affair. So you can take a pause, think, you can make a mistake and correct yourself. So don't be scared that, I don't want to make a mistake. No one is perfect. I'm not, you're not, and they don't expect you to be perfect. It doesn't work that way, and it shouldn't be something that it's on your mind. So calm down, familiarize yourself with, words that are, good enough. Speak to people that you're comfortable with. I remember calling a friend of mine while preparing for speaking part of the ITLs, and we spoke about general topics. He's like, okay, tell me about your favorite book. I told him, what's your hobbies? I told him, just so that I'm able to, interact with people. We think we can speak until we are asked to speak. And then it's just like, I don't know. That just helps you, speaking with people helps you open up your creativity, open your mind up. And then, you have experiences, but you are able to, remember those experiences just in case you are asked in an examination, environment like Ielts. So he asked me about the house. I told him about the house, saying that the flowers were very beautiful. And then he now says, let's talk about flowers. So that was the second part. Because I mentioned flowers in the first part when he asked, talk about your house and what can I see when I get to your house? Is it an apartment? Just tell me about it, describe it. Because I mentioned flowers in my description, he asked me about flowers in the second part. So tell me about flowers. You made mention about beauty and flowers. I want to know a little bit about flowers. Explain to me, when should flowers be given? Should it be given just on special occasions? Share an experience about it. And then I told him about an experience of mine growing up, of how my father always brought back flowers for my mom after work. And happy red flowers were daisies, the color. Just describe it. That's where your personality should shine through. Don't be scared to speak for long, because that's one thing that I never let happen. Like I wasn't scared of speaking for long. I kept, forgive me for using this word, but I kept yapping. And that's what my brother even told me. So when I called him and said, what's your advice? He said, keep yapping until the examiner tells you to stop. And that's what you should do. The man was tired of me. The examiner on that day was tired of me. He was just like, okay, that's enough. He kept cutting me. And that is a good sign when he's cutting you, because it just shows that, you're being expressive, and don't limit yourself. Let your character, your personality shine through. your speech, your speaking engagement. Just talk, tell him about it. Like, assume he's a friend that you have known for long, and keep talking until he tells you it's enough. So, because certainly he will tell you it's enough. And don't get offended when he tells you it's enough. Just, continue, and, just say it. Just feel like, accept it as a good nudging that, oh, you're doing well. So yes, we mentioned avoiding fillers, letting your personality shine through, build up your vocabulary before the examination by listening to several podcasts, by listening to podcasts, to listen to shows, build up your confidence too, because confidence is not assumed. Nobody's born with it. It is built here on earth. So learn to build up your confidence. Like, I watch a lot of talk shows, how to speak confidently, how to hide your anxiety while speaking. That's when I learned that you could pause. If you make a mistake, it's okay. Start again, correct yourself. And then just, keep yapping, be creative, and just keep talking. Don't stop. And so why I said don't stop was the last part of the examination. So after we spoke about flowers or beauty, kept on asking questions on beauty. So they will keep asking you questions on a topic. Just they will be changing the format. So he would ask, what does beauty means to you? And then I would tell him. Now says, okay, what do you mean by, he now said, okay, how is beauty so important? It's the same question, but it's different ways. But I kept on saying, like I said before, then I continued to reinstate what I said. So it shows that you are aware that he's repeating the question, but in a different format. So that may not be your own scenario, but that was my scenario during my time. So after, he would ask other questions like, okay, you have told me what does beauty mean to you on a larger spectrum. So now he's no more asking you for your personal views on what beauty is. What does it mean globally? And then that's when I now said, beauty is relative to, several different human beings, several different parts of people. I mentioned, different parts of Nigeria and what it means to them, how they express it through their cultures, their beliefs, their dance, their food, their art, everything. So, it just makes him know that you are versatile. Your knowledge is not just, rigid. It's not just, narrowed down to, you as a person. You are aware. So yes, read up on things, on news, listen to podcasts, TED Talks. Yeah, just listen to things that would make you open up your creativity box. So apart from that, there was another part that he asked me to, that was the part where he said that I have 1 minute to cook up a story about about a favorite object of mine. So now this is where I made the mistake that I don't want you all to make. Yeah, he said there was a paper, there was a pen, get writing. So initially he shared his screen and then he said, oh, talk about a favorite thing of yours. And then there are options, e.g. car, this, da. So I chose one of the things that were there in the e.g., which was a car. And I know nothing about cars. So it was pressure at its finest. And then after the examination, I asked myself, why didn't I just speak about my phone? My phone is an object and I know so much about my phone. So be careful to, to not make mistakes that would, cost you a lot of marks. Although it wasn't a lot of marks. So say 0.5 marks, that was not there because of that. But yes, I chose a car and I knew nothing about cars. And then he now says, okay, please, we 1 minute, write what you're going to talk about with cars. But then I remember the previous mentorship webinar when, I don't know his name, but the speaker at the time talked about how he answered the 5 W's and H, why, what, when, and how, just to make sure that you are, just so that you, just so you have a lot of information to give the examiner at the time. So I wrote down that 5 W's and H. once I answer these five W's and H, I'm good to go. And then I began. He said, okay, go ahead. So now what I'm saying, don't be afraid to make mistakes. While I was writing these things under 1 minute, my paper fell to the ground because there was also a fan in the room that was blowing vigorously at me. So my paper fell to the ground. And remember that there's a camera watching you by the side. It's on a stand, and there's an actual, camera on the screen where the examiner is watching you, and it's an examination. So in order not to implicate yourself, you cannot just like bend down and pick stuff up without informing the examiner in front of you that something had happened, because he cannot see what's happening in the room, but the camera situated by your side can see. So I said, oh, you can begin your speech. Your 1 minute of writing has elapsed. And I told him, oh, I'm so sorry. My paper fell off the table. That is out of character, and that is okay, because that's showing your personality as you. And then he laughed, like he literally just laughed, and was like, oh, sure, you can pick up your paper. I was like, okay, thank you. And then I laughed too, and I bent down to pick up my paper, because I'm aware that I'm in an examination hall, regardless of the fact that I'm trying to be myself and let my personality shine through. So I picked up my paper and goes ahead and says, oh, Miss Mercy, go ahead. Tell us about your favorite object. And I said, oh, my favorite object is the car. And I described the car. The car is red. It has 4 tires. Basic things you think the examiner knows. Tell him about it. Don't be ashamed to, like, oh, he has 4 tires. Obviously, cars have 4 tires. What else is new? But just tell him, just so you're using it to, exhaust the time that you were given. So I said, oh, it has 4 tires. They are black. The car is red with black handles. I was just creating things up in my head. Remember, I didn't take a topic that I was comfortable with. I took a car because I was, scared. But I made it work. Talked about the cars. And when I talked about the exterior, I'll say thank you. But my time had not elapsed. So although it's an examination, the examiner is there for you. They are there. They want to see you succeed. So they would give you subtle nudges that you need to recognize and pick up on it and continue. So he says, is that all? And I'm like, of course. When someone tells you is that all, that means there should be more. So I said, oh, no, it's not all. No, I have more to tell you. He said, okay, go ahead. Your time is not yet elapsed. And I'm like, okay, about the interior. It has a wheel. Obviously, car has a wheel, but I have to, buy time. I like the car because the first time I saw the car, it was when it passed by in front of my house, and it was so beautiful. And I just said that would be my dream car. So the name of the model of the car is Camry 2025. I don't even know if it's out yet, but I was just stating it. So it doesn't have to exist. So long as you show that you have good vocabulary, you can speak. So the whole essence of the, test is to show that you can speak English, because most countries like Nigeria, English is not our first language. We have different ethnic groups like Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, Tiv. So that's not our motherland or mother tongue. So we need to, learn. We need to show that we can, communicate in English language. So yes, just avoid taking pauses for finding vocabularies. Find vocabularies before the day of the examination and arm yourself with it. And there's a way you can finesse it. You can pick, instead of saying like common words that are day to day, add vocabularies that are synonymous to the day-to-day words you use. So no pressure at all. Listen to podcasts, listen to how they command English, listen to how they emphasize, and let your personality shine through. You don't have to be the most confident person in the room, but laugh. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to smile. Even if the examiner is not laughing, it's fine. It's you as a person, and, just show yourself. And I know that God will help you, just as he helped me to ace the speaking part of the Ielts examination. So remember, anxiety is what you make of it and not what it is. Trust me, it's a fallacy. It doesn't exist. It exists because it has an effect. But, you can always shake it off and say, I got this, and I'm going to, be the best person that the examiner has ever seen. It starts with me. I'm going to be different. I'm going to, show him my bubbly side. And even if you're on the quiet side, I'm going to show him that I can speak and it's okay. And I'll be all right because I know you all will be all right.